So the last time I did this, I had brown hair. It's true. That's true.
Does this bring back memories to your first trip to the ranch?
Well, yeah, I mean, the only other time we did this was the first trip that I ever made here, and we built a fire and we made a bunch of noise, did kind of the kind of things that this group has been doing today and yesterday, and tried to attract the attention of something. It didn't work, and you know, whatever that's here, it plays by its own rules. It shows you what it wants to, when it wants to. For NIDS, when they came in like gangbusters, and there was a debate: should they try a technical approach, scientific approach, or should they maybe back off, contact shaman, psychics, remote viewers? They end up bringing a lot of technical expertise and equipment, scientific measuring equipment, to try to figure out what's out here. And basically, science got its ass kicked because it was unable to come up with any answers whatsoever. Collected a lot of information, but the phenomena itself always seemed to be one step ahead of the team that was trying to figure it out. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever is here, it toys with whomever is trying to figure it out. I mean, it plays games, it messes with your mind. It seems to know what you're going to do before you do it, and it gives you glimpses only when you don't expect it and you're not ready for it. And so I don't know if anybody's ever going to be able to figure it out. But maybe that's the point of it. It's a learning curve. You know, it's meant to be the challenge, the journey of getting there, as opposed to figuring out the final answer. And you know, there's a suggestion from what's here is all these different phenomena that you wouldn't normally associate with each other: UFOs and poltergeist and Bigfoot and cattle mutilations, all those things in one place. It's almost like it's telling us they're all related on some level, and it's up to you to figure it out.
I mean, so I've been out here, you know, a number of times with you, and I've really had nothing but, I wanted to have an experience that was not good, to be honest with you. I did, because I wanted to see for myself, but I've only had really good experience. I tried to trick myself into feeling like, ooh, something's terrifying, but I've just felt good. You brought a bunch more people out this time. I mean, it's your guys' first time, and every time is different. I'll admit that, for sure. Every time is different. And I know you, Mark, you wanted to come for 20 years to this place because of the stories about it. And Robbie, it's your first time, and we talked before, and it was like, we didn't know, like, maybe a little scary, but you didn't expect to see anything, but it'd be cool if you did.
My question would be to you is, have you ever been to hell?
I'm assuming what you mean by that is like personal hell. What's my darkest moment? Have I felt that depth of despair?
Mm-hmm.
And I'd say, I think everybody has had those moments if they've lived a life, but I don't know the level of that despair compared to yours or someone else's, but I have recovered from that. And so for me, it's like in the sense of saying yes, but I don't know how it equates to yours.
Because for me personally, you know, I've had difficulties with substance abuse, etc., and found myself in places that I would deem to be hell on earth for quite a length of time. And my reservation would be, if it was just scary, I could deal with that. But if I have a hitchhiker that comes on and takes me over, I couldn't deal with that. So I'm scared of that. But we do have a saying in England, and it's in for a penny, in for a pound. I'm here, so I might as well. And I survived the last one, but only just. Only just.
What about a different kind of hell? I mean, you've had other experiences that were very frightening, that were not self-inflicted.
Yeah, but they are, you know, they're the cocaine of paranormal experiences.
What do you mean?
It's gone in 15 minutes, you know.
So you've had brief encounters with the phenomenon.
Yeah, brief encounters with the phenomena, but, you know, I don't know, maybe I did take something home a long, long time ago. Because I was, I don't know who I was talking to today, but I was saying, it's either George or Mark, that right about the same time that my wife came into my life, me being scared in my own skin by myself in my bedroom stopped too. And I thought, being a 44-year-old, that it was because I've now grown accustomed. I fit into my own skin, and I'm not scared anymore like I used to be. And my wife's gone away for a couple of weekends. I can assure you that it's alive and well. So I either have a ism that is mine, or there is a hitchhiker. I don't know if I can afford any more hitchhikers. So I'll say that out loud to the hitchhikers of the galaxy. Don't come home with me, but we'd like to experience you in some way. Why don't you say that instead of me?
We all talk about evidence, like, you know, I'm making a film about this, and everybody was, well, what's the evidence? I want to see the evidence. Well, what is evidence to you? Is evidence a photograph? Is it a video? You know, what is evidence to you? Well, to me, a lot of what I have is witness testimony. Witness testimony is evidence. We use it in court. It is something that I find most compelling depending upon the witness. So my question is, from what you guys have seen from witness testimony on this trip, especially you, Robbie, today, do you find that as evidence? Do you find that compelling, what people have told you on this trip?
I find it compelling, but I find it also, I find it the way that when I relate my stories about what's happened to me, you know, as nobody takes what I say home as evidence that something happened. I wouldn't be here if I didn't believe that there was some source of extra activity out of the realms of what we understand. Do I take it home, you know, in the court of law? Ish, but not yes.
Yeah.
Ish.
And I guess, does there become a point where, for example, just the ranch, the stories at the ranch, a lot of witness testimony is on this. Does that stack of paper, does that testimony at some point become so weighty that it just has value? You know, and that's something I'm struggling with, you know, being an outsider after you've been there for 20 years.
That's the thing, you know, like the boom of the internet and all the information that you collate just by being obsessed with this kind of thing is you can collect too much information, and then you have to disseminate, filter, you know, distill the truth. And this is part of me distilling the truth from what I've read on the internet. So sometimes you can have too much information.
Like ATS is what you're talking about.
Exactly like ATS.
Mark.
I'm learning to undo everything that your website has done to my brain.
And I love you too, brother. Yeah, I mean, for me, this place has been it's been a place I've been trying to get to for 25 years. Ever since George first brought it to the world, and, you know, and you did. I've been intrigued. And as the owner of AboveTopSecret.com, how could I not be? And I'm here. And I was so excited to be here. And I have to tell you that I'm not disappointed. I felt really kind of like everybody else. I felt very calm and peaceful here. Definitely hoping and sort of wishing for something to happen, but I'm okay that nothing has. The question, what is evidence? The witness testimony is what got me into this. I mean, admirals, generals, pilots, I mean, that's what initially got me into this stuff. So yes, that has weight, but would I love to see, you know, a portal open up right there? Yeah, I really would, as long as it stayed right there.
Yeah, I guess it's just a personal struggle I have. It's just I've got the point where I don't have the luxury of disbelief anymore. I don't know what that means. It doesn't mean I know anything. I just don't have the luxury of disbelief, and I don't know how better to say it.
It's a great way to put it.
Oh, I wish there was a better way because it doesn't complete it. But
Great way to put it.
so
Yeah, I guess that the only thing that stops me from going, hey, I'm a full-on believer, is because of what other people think. If I'm honest, I'm just sat here, contemplating what my motives are. It's like, I believe there's other stuff there. I've said it. I always try and qualify that with, but I'm not sure because I might be crazy, and don't worry about me. I'm just an idiot. But I do believe, and hence why I'm here.
if I was you, I think I would say I know, because you have seen and you've had experiences that are so sober and close and tactile and physical. If I had the experiences that you have had, I would say I know. I can't say that yet.
I'm sure that if they or the others sat around going, how many times, Robbie? How many times this fucking guy? What do we need to do
What do we
to
need
this
to do?
fucking guy?
Who do we got to blow to get
Yeah.
Robbie Williams to believe in us?
Exactly. Because the amount of things that have happened to me over my life, yeah, you're right. I should not have the luxury to disbelieve either.
You shouldn't need to say you believe. You should be able to say you know.
I mean, I don't know, because proof to somebody is different, to everybody. And also, I am starting to see this pattern that it's constantly having to remind you of its existence, of the cosmic connective existence. It's almost like it needs to remind you year after year that there's something greater going on, and that's its job, is to gently reinforce its presence to you. That's what it seems like from your experiences it might have been doing over this time. But I'm totally theorizing right now, but it feels like that to me.
But the life stories that we are fed on a daily basis are so concrete and are so, or 100%. When something happens outside of those beliefs and the stories you've been fed, of course you're going to question yourself, and of course you're going to question your own sanity. And even though I said I believe, I think that it's also healthy to go, hey, you might be crazy.
Well, listen, that's, I think, something that I really respect out of the way that George has taught me to come and approach. One of the things that George said to me is, vet every source. If it seems too good to be true, dig deeper. And he's constantly said that. So it's like the idea that no matter how much information we get, you should always have some sort of healthy skepticism to keep a clear lens, for what you're doing. Is that what you would you agree with that?
That is absolutely true. I thought this trip might be different because of Rob, because of the experiences that he's had, that maybe this time we'd come and they'd say, oh, well, it's Rob.
We know this
No,
guy.
no pressure.
Let him in.
No pressure.
The bait, dude. You were the. See, last time it was me. This time you were the
No,
bait.
I understand that I'm the bait.
Thank God I passed the baton. So I guess I just want to hear a little bit, from George. Like, you've told us the big picture. You've told us, what people think it might be, your kind of history here. So now finally, you've allowed me to rummage through your archive, pull stuff out, and make this documentary. What is it that you are trying to give to people about this experience that you've gone through for 20 years? Why do you want this out now?
Well, I mean, what I've got out of it is sort of what Dr. Colin Kelleher got out of it, and some of the other people with NIDS who were involved in the study, both as NIDS and then as BASS, that it seems to be an overarching lesson of the universe is more mysterious and wondrous and complicated than we imagine, that reality itself isn't what it used to be, that we should start thinking bigger, that the physical stuff we see around us isn't all there is to it, that there's something else, and we should probably try to figure it out. Maybe that's a matter of survival, maybe it's a learning curve we're in grade school, and maybe we'll get to junior high and then high school and eventually graduate. Reality is more complicated than what it might seem.
Full stop.
Yeah.
That's where you walk away normally.
Yeah, normally that's where he walks
That's right.
on camera.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. I'll do that again.
He's like, I won't do that
It's
anymore.
nice and warm by the fire, so he's gonna stay.
That's the best classic. I'm gonna do a whole montage of him just walking off my fucking camera screen.
No, the walkaway's class.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I didn't mean to do that.
He's
It's
like,
my
I'm
mic
done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that Matt or is that a Skinwalker?
Elvis has left the building.
Jesus Christ. Is that Matt or Skinwalker? Damn it.
You notice a Mark got a plug for ATS.com.
I did notice that.
Yeah. I nearly pointed out. I know. I
I had to bite my tongue.
Yeah.